Deep in the heart of the forest, there was a buzz of excitement. The animals were gathering for a special event. It was the day of the big race. The race would start at the edge of the meadow and finish at the foot of the great oak tree. The animals chattered excitedly, pondering who would win the race. Would it be the fastest animal, or could someone surprise them all? All eyes were on the two contestants. This year, the race was between a hare and a tortoise.
Oh, just look at everyone. They're all so excited. Who do you think will win?
The hare hopped from one foot to the other, eager to start the race. He was confident, knowing he was the fastest animal in the forest and wanted to prove it to everyone. He glanced at the tortoise, who was slowly stretching his legs.
You're so slow, you'll never win this race.
The tortoise smiled calmly in response. He knew the hare was faster, but speed wasn't everything. The tortoise had a plan. He would not be distracted by the hare's speed. The other animals watched with interest, wondering, could the tortoise really beat the hare? The hare was so much faster. It seemed impossible. S2, we'll see. The starting signal rang out through the forest, and the animals cheered loudly. The race had begun. The hare shot off like a bolt of lightning, wanting to make a big show of his speed. Meanwhile, the tortoise started slowly, keeping his pace steady. He knew he had a long way to go.
He's so slow, but I must keep moving.
The other animals watched in amazement. The hare was already far ahead, just a blur in the distance, while the tortoise was still plodding along. Some animals laughed at the tortoise, but he didn't mind. He knew his own strength. He was determined to finish the race. As the sun shone through the trees and the birds sang their cheerful songs, the tortoise kept moving forward, one step at a time.
I'll just rest for a little bit. That tortoise will never catch up. Narrator. The hare was so far ahead that he couldn't even see the tortoise anymore. Feeling overconfident, he decided to take a break. He was so sure of his lead that he thought he had plenty of time to spare. Finding a shady spot under a tree, he murmured to himself.
With that, he closed his eyes and quickly fell asleep. The soothing sounds of the forest lulled him into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, the tortoise continued to move steadily along the path. He didn't stop to rest, nor did he get distracted. His eyes remained fixed on the finish line. He was slow and steady, but more importantly, he was determined to finish the race. As the hare slept soundly under the tree, the other animals watched in disbelief as the tortoise passed the sleeping hare. They had never seen anything like it before. The tortoise was actually going to win. The crowd grew louder as the tortoise neared the finish line.
Go, tortoise, go. You can do it.
The noise of the crowd finally woke the hare. He sat up, blinked, and looked around in horror.
Just a few more steps.
To the hare's dismay, the tortoise was just a few feet away from the finish line. Panicking, the hare jumped up and started running as fast as he could. But alas, it was too late. The tortoise crossed the finish line just a moment before the hare arrived. The crowd erupted in cheers, astonished and delighted by the unexpected outcome. The tortoise had won. The tortoise had done the impossible. He had beaten the hare. The other animals lifted the tortoise onto their shoulders, cheering and chanting his name in celebration.
Today, we've all learned a valuable lesson from our friend here.
The hare hung his head in shame. He had been so confident that he would win, yet his carelessness and arrogance had cost him the victory. He had learned a valuable lesson that day. Meanwhile, the tortoise couldn't help but smile, proud of himself for not giving up.
Slow and steady wins the race.
The animals celebrated the tortoise's victory long into the night. The story of the tortoise and the hare became a legend, a poignant reminder that even the smallest creature can achieve great things with determination and perseverance.